Hi, friend. Welcome back to my channel for content creators, entrepreneurs, speakers, anyone who wants to get visible with their video content online. I'm Shana Yurko. I'm the host of the Creative Minute podcast. I'm a YouTuber. I am a video producer. And I'm super excited to show you this conversation today. This conversation on the Creative Minute today is all about LinkedIn. We brought in LinkedIn expert and influencer, Caroline Pennington. She is an insane wealth of knowledge. The audit that she gave me on my personal LinkedIn, I've implemented these strategies and I've started getting so much more engagement, possible leads for my business. I'm so thrilled about all of the amazingness she's here to share with us today. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation so that you can use LinkedIn to freaking level up your business. Hello, because spoiler alert, like the other platforms, mostly Instagram and TikTok, are kind of on the struggle bus lately. So LinkedIn is really useful for anyone who's trying to attract high ticket clients, coaching clients, service clients, consulting clients. Your clients are on LinkedIn. Caroline will tell us all about it. Let's get into it, my friend. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you're just listening to me in your earbuds on the podcast, that's awesome too. And I'm so thrilled you're here. I will be posting these podcast episodes on YouTube. And oh my God, you're gonna die at what my setup is going to be looking like soon. Oh, I'm so excited. I just ordered a bunch of wall art. I'm going to have this crazy huge wall, art installation at my house that's super on brand for me. Superheroes, fantasy, weird stuff. It's going to be great. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation with Caroline so that you can level up your business using LinkedIn. Hi, friend. Welcome to the Creative Minute, a podcast for the entrepreneur who's obsessed with personal growth, creativity, and marketing strategy. My name is Shana, and I am a super nerd about all things content and entrepreneurship. In this space, we are sharing stories, tips, and actionable steps that will help you get more creative and have more fun with content creation. I'm all about making content fast and easily so that you can crush your visibility goals and actually move the needle in your business. Plus, we'll talk about how to chase after the best and most authentic version of yourself in your life, business, relationships, and more. So pull up a seat and let's have a brunch-style chat and break things down in a way that feels easy so you can focus more on doing the things that you actually love and want to spend your time doing. Let's get into it. Hi, friend. Welcome back to the Creative Minute. Today we have Caroline Pennington, and oh my gosh, this woman is a LinkedIn genius. We met through Keisha Getmiri's mastermind where I was filming an event, and we just have stayed in touch since, and we've seen each other at a few events ever since. And oh my gosh, every time this woman speaks, my ears just perk up, and I get so excited to hear what she has to say. So I'm really thrilled to have her on the podcast today. Hi, Caroline.
Thank you so much for having me.
My gosh, duh, of course. I'm really excited to jump in and really kind of get into LinkedIn. So for a long time, and I'm going to speak about my own experience because I kind of am feeling like I missed the boat a little bit, but I'm really excited to jump into the boat and start really taking advantage of it. LinkedIn for a long time to me was like your resume. And it was like, okay, I'll go apply for jobs here. But since becoming an entrepreneur, I just abandoned it. And I was like, I'm not looking for a job. I have my business. I'm not trying to grow my business over on LinkedIn. But after hearing you talk, I'm like, maybe I should go over on LinkedIn. And what's the strategy? And so I would love for you to, we're really jumping the gun here. First, introduce yourself to our listeners.
Okay, for the record, for your listeners, it's 2025 springtime, and you have not missed the boat for LinkedIn.
Love that.
LinkedIn is what Facebook and Instagram used to be 15 to 20 years ago, when you used to love logging on, have community, not a bunch of political stuff and ads in your face. And the beauty of LinkedIn is you can really grow and scale really fast, and you can do it organically, which I love because my product-based business, I've done the ad game on the other socials, and it gets very expensive. So who am I? I'm Caroline Pennington. I live in South Carolina with my husband, Gary, and our two wine writers, Zena and Zara, and I refer to them regularly as my podcast managers. If you
I'm
follow
obsessed
me
with that. It's so great.
And I actually was a headhunter. I was a recruiter for 15 years. I started placing entry-level professionals, receptionists, admins, Then fast forward 15 years later, and I'm working in the C-suite space. So placing the high 6, 7, and 8-figure income earners, the CEOs, OOs, CFOs, okay? So where were these people hanging out? Where was I getting in touch with them? And that was on LinkedIn. So I was on LinkedIn for my corporate paying agency job, which, by the way, in those roles, it's like real estate. You don't get paid unless you actually place the person, and they stay for 90 days. And so it is a very competitive game that you play when you're an agency recruiter. Either you love it or you don't. So anyways, I was on LinkedIn for my corporate job. So don't think, your listeners, I had some big corporate flashy salary. I didn't. I was eating what I killed. And I was very good at it. But I decided to start my personal brand on there because I started noticing, so I was on LinkedIn for my corporate job the majority of the day. And so I was like, let's start a personal brand. So I decided to start my personal brand on LinkedIn 2 years ago in 2023. And so at the same time I started my podcast, I started my personal brand on LinkedIn. What that meant was I was posting on LinkedIn 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the time, I was posting about recruiting things. I wanted to be known as the go-to executive recruiter. So I was talking about things like do's and don'ts when it comes to hiring processes, why you should never accept a counteroffer, why you should go ask for raises, don't expect your employer to come to you with a 3% raise. It's unacceptable with inflation, stuff like that. So it went from 0 to 7,000 followers in under a year. I'm about to cross 12.5 and right at 2 years. And again, this is organically. I have not spent any money on boosting anything, no paid ads. And what that allowed me to do is quit my corporate job, work with female entrepreneurs. I now have a LinkedIn marketing agency, a top 5% podcast, and then a product. I'm the founder of the drinkware company, Chilled Vino, that I sell mostly on Amazon.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, you're an extremely impressive woman. And I love that you were able to actually leverage LinkedIn to leave your corporate job. That is so dope. Really pumped, and such an inspiring story for anyone who's listening who is either stuck in corporate or who's wanting to leverage social media to grow their business. Like, that's a lot of what we talk about on this podcast. And we talk about marketing, we talk about creativity, we talk about kind of whatever I want to talk about. But I really want this to be a resource for business owners to get inspired or to see things differently. So talk to me like for me, Caroline did an amazing, basically LinkedIn audit. She gave me like 30 minutes of her time and blew my freaking mind. And she looked at my LinkedIn. She was like, you need to change this. This is how you post. And here's what you're going to do to actually like attract leads. I was like, oh, wow, that's easy. So for someone who's just starting out, what would be like their first step in really starting to build their personal brand on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I'd say too, for your listeners, if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, your ideal customer client is 100% hanging out on LinkedIn. Whether or not they're active or not is another thing, but they are lurking on there, okay? So for LinkedIn, it's interesting because you don't have to keep up with any trends or reels or trending audio. It literally a blank Canva picture of either a personal branding shot of you or whatever you do. Let's say you're a CPA, if you have a Canva picture of a tax return or something like that to assign with your thought leadership what you're going to say, will do really, really well. I had several posts go viral in that first year of me doing recruiting content just based off of a still picture from Canva, stock photo, and then my thought leadership, which in my opinion, medium form content does best on LinkedIn. Long form content does not, because who's got time to read all that? And then short form, people are on LinkedIn because they want to learn. And so they're not looking to be entertained. So they're not sitting there watching cat videos and like distracted by their kids like doing laundry. They're actually focused, which is another cool thing about LinkedIn is that when you post on LinkedIn, your audience and your viewership is most likely sitting at their computer. They're not on their phones.
Good point.
So you have an opportunity to capture their attention further. And so make sure you're talking about the things that you know. And even if you think it's silly or no one wants to hear about it, they do. Even the podcast you and I did about video, I got so much good feedback about that on LinkedIn.
Good.
Because LinkedIn is pushing video. Now, B-roll doesn't do well on LinkedIn at all, but face to camera and thought leadership less than a minute does really well on LinkedIn.
Amazing. That's a really, really good tip. Okay, so I was going to ask if you could post one type of video content it would be that thought leadership. Like, would it be something where it's like, I'm sharing 2 tips to get more confident on camera, that kind of video?
Yep, that would do perfect. I did a video actually on Instagram. I'm going to do it on LinkedIn too about LinkedIn's implemented a new feature now where you can see, you not only can see the stats of your posts, your videos, how many people are viewing it, what are the titles of the people that it reached, but now it gives you the data on how many people are viewing your comments that you're doing on other people's posts. And so that's another double whammy way to get a lot more views and eyeballs on your stuff.
I love that. Okay, so we have our like go-to video content. Do we need to be posting every day?
3 days a week minimum. I would do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Again, at the same time, whatever that looks like for you. For me, it was 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time. I have a client who is a healthcare executive turned entrepreneur, and she is like, look, my people in healthcare, they don't start scrolling until 10 a.m. So
Cool.
she posts at 10.
Cool.
So know your audience. And then if you want to supercharge your journey like what I did, I would do 5 days a week. I don't even look at LinkedIn in the evenings or on the weekends because it's a Monday through Friday kind of place.
Cool. It's like an office. You log into your office. I love it.
It is like an office, but I will say it's a lot more unhinged than people think.
Ooh. What do you mean? Tell me the most unhinged thing that you've seen.
The number one thing people ask me on LinkedIn and is my hair real?
What?
Which I think is unhinged for LinkedIn because it has nothing to do with LinkedIn marketing, nothing to do with their podcast. People don't believe that my hair, I don't have a weave and is real.
That's so funny. First, you do have great hair, but oh my God, that's hilarious. Dude. Okay, that is pretty unhinged. With our content we're posting every day, do we need to post videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Or is it no?
I would do a video once a week.
Dope.
The other 3 days a week, I would do a picture with your thought leadership.
Cool.
And then 1 day a week, every single Wednesday, if you watch my cadence and what I do on LinkedIn, every single Wednesday, I post a poll on LinkedIn.
Cool.
So I talk to my audience. And so let's say we're looking at the month. We have 4 weeks of the month. 3 weeks of the month, I will do a serious poll. Like, what's holding you back from posting on LinkedIn? Is it your boss? Is it you don't know what to say? You know, yada, yada, yada. Every once in a while, like today, I did a silly poll that said, do you use AI professionally? And it's performed the best of any poll I've got. And I just did a simple yes or no.
Yeah.
I did a poll last month about, are you looking forward to the warmer weather? Yes or no. That,
Nice.
again, performed the best of anything. I think one thing, too, is I know it does well on Facebook and Instagram, and it actually does really well on LinkedIn, too. People want to get to know you as the human.
Yep.
And so I used to do this once a quarter, and now I do this once a month. But I do a reintroduction.
Ooh, love it.
And I'll include, let's say I do 10 facts. I'll do 7 of them professional and then 3 of them personal. And you don't have to get super feel-goody personal. Like I'll say, when I'm not teaching my clients LinkedIn marketing, I like to spend time by the water, in the boat, by the beach, by the pool.
Cool.
I'll say, one day I said something about, I prefer hot tea in the mornings over coffee, and people went crazy
Oh
over
yeah.
that one.
Your coffee lovers will hate.
Oh, they did. And my comments were insane that day. And it was all about like, basically that I was coffee hater,
Oh my God, hilarious.
which you would never expect that to happen on LinkedIn. You would think people would be, you know, want to pick up on the professional facts, but no, they couldn't get over the tea thing.
I love it. Okay, so I like that you are inspiring engagement just with these easy conversational polls. And are the polls anonymous on LinkedIn?
They are, which I used to add when I worked for my corporate job. I would say the question, and then I would say, friendly reminder, only I can see the results.
Awesome.
Because a lot of times people would not vote because they thought their boss could see or their coworkers could see. But on LinkedIn, only I can see the results.
That's good.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Okay, so that is a nice like little reminder if people are trying to get people to engage and maybe they're not, that would be a good little tip to maybe try it out the next week. Love it. When it comes to engagement, you said that we could like see our engagement on our comments on other people's posts. Do you have a recommendation for going and engaging on other people's content? Because I know that Instagram's big on community, YouTube's big on community. Talk to me about building a community on LinkedIn.
The law of reciprocity exists in a very big way on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is really pushing community to 2 years ago, I implemented the creator mode. So everybody is a creator on LinkedIn.
Cool.
I would suggest if you want engagement on LinkedIn, you need to start giving engagement on LinkedIn.
Got it.
So those 5 days a week that we're posting, I would go on there and start posting on 3 to 5 other people's content and say more than one word. Make it be thoughtful, but you don't have to write a book.
Cool.
You can say a simple, quick sentence, but that way their viewers will be able to see your content and vice versa. It cross-pollinates the audiences.
Love. Okay, so that's how like the algorithm kind of works, where if you're commenting on someone's post, their audience will see that as well. Oh, love it. Okay. And so are we trying to find our ideal clients when we're commenting, or is it like we're trying to find our peers?
Both. I would say your ideal clients, and then you will have power partners, and those will be people that have similar or slightly larger audiences than you.
Cool.
Because I wouldn't go too far off into the outer space of like the opposite niche person than you, but someone who's within like the realm or, Saturn spheres of what you do. Because
Okay.
you're going to have similar audiences. Not exact, but you'll have some cross-pollination there.
Okay, so it's mostly like your power partners are people who maybe they're not quite in the same niche, but they would have the same ideal customer or same audience. So like probably you and I may have sort of similar audiences, like people who want to attract clients using LinkedIn and people who want to get better at video.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. I was just thinking about like you and I would be considered that too.
Amazing. Expect to see comments from me.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Okay, I would love to know like what's been the hardest thing about LinkedIn and the most surprisingly beneficial thing from LinkedIn.
The hardest thing is just staying in it. And especially in the beginning, it is the long game. And I work with clients all the time and they're like, I've been posting for a month and it's kind of crickets out there. And I'm like, it's not going to happen overnight at all for you. But I will say, no matter what your goal is, if it's speaking on stages, if it's getting new clients, if it is getting featured in publications, guess what? The editors of those magazines are hanging out on LinkedIn. Guess what? The leaders and hosts of these events are hanging out on LinkedIn. They can hire you for their corporate budgets or entrepreneurial budgets to come speak at their event. And the average user of LinkedIn makes over $100,000, which means your ideal client can afford your product, services, and offers on LinkedIn.
That's a big deal because like Instagram is wonderful. YouTube is wonderful. And when you have your messaging down, I do feel like you can absolutely attract those right people. But I have noticed like a lot of either speaking opportunities or other things where it's like, oh no, we're not going to pay you. You need to come pay us. And they're using Instagram as a big resource to attract that. And that's a great strategy for them. But if you are like trying to reach that next level with your speaking gigs, or I love the publication thing, definitely going to go like creep on some publishers on there.
You should and send them a connection request because that's one of the reasons I've been featured on Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine, and over 26 other publications because of this whole choice of deciding to show up on LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it. Okay.
And guess what? I'm connected to the editors of these magazines. They know who I am. And it's
That's
a
super
simple
dope.
connection request you send to them. So that's when you start putting content out there, their eyeballs see it.
Cool. Okay, so real deep strategy question for you here. And first, I wanted to go back. How long does it take people to see results on LinkedIn usually?
3 months.
3 months. Okay. I love that because like with YouTube, I always recommend people like try for 6 months. Be consistent for 6 months. It doesn't mean you have to post like 2 videos a week. If you can post 1 a week, awesome. But even if you're showing up twice a month for 6 months, just being consistent, give your content that much time to gain traction, right? I love that it's like a 3 month, you gotta be in it for at least that long. Thank you. Talk to me about the publications. Do we need to have a good amount of content that they could scroll on our feed before we go connect with these people? Just right away?
No, they're always looking for people to feature. And you do have to have not substantial, but something going on. Like you need to have a couple thousand followers to gain attention from them.
Okay.
If you're Joe Blow, just posted yesterday, like, no, they're not going to come feature you, which is why you need to be consistent, start showing up for at least 3 months at a time.
Cool. Cool.
But at the end of the day, they want content for their publications. You want the publicity. And so it works out for both parties. And this is not something you pay for either, by the way. I've never paid to be featured in anything.
It's great because I get so many emails in my inbox that are like, hey, you want to be featured? By the way, there's a charge that's applied. I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, no, I've been able to do this by spending no money.
Oh my God, I love it. Do you pay for the premium on LinkedIn?
So I do, because I do LinkedIn marketing
Okay.
now with my agency, but you can have success on LinkedIn on the free version. You don't need the paid version.
Amazing. I love all of this so much. So we are engaging and we're posting and we're trying to build the community. We are looking at power partners. This is all really, really valuable insights on how to build your personal brand and your thought leadership. Love it. So when it comes to actually like acquiring clients, what does that look like? Obviously, it'll probably look different for service providers versus other people, but like, how do you get that process started if they don't just come to you?
In the DMs, here's what happens. So let me give you an example of what not to do, and let me give an example of what to do.
Excellent.
I used to slide in people's DMs and say, thanks for connecting. Here's my newsletter with weekly insights on tips and tricks to be successful on LinkedIn. Well, on LinkedIn, in LinkedIn land, that's considered a pitch slap.
Ooh, a pitch slap. I love this so
Even though
much.
I'm not asking for your credit card or you to pay me for anything, I am still asking you for an email. So that is considered a pitch slap. My response rate to that was less than 20%. I have then since changed my response to every single person I connect with. I say their name. Hey, Shana, nice to meet you. I look forward to connecting further. Is what happens is you get 1 in 3 responses. 1, they ghost you. 2, they do the AI likewise response. Or 3, they turn around and go creep on your profile and they're like, oh, this girl's a LinkedIn marketer. I need to up my LinkedIn game. And then they initiate the meeting with me.
Awesome. Love it. I love that. And that's a really easy thing that you could do just like once a week. Go into your messages.
Yeah, I do it once a week. I spend 30 minutes on it. I go in there, I see who's new, and then
Cool.
I go just introduce myself to them. And so the next time if I have an event going on, a masterclass, or I'm doing a freebie or whatever, I'm going to speak at an event and I want them to come or invite them, there's history in the DMs of
Cool.
our communication, or at least me reaching out, like introducing myself, welcoming them to my community.
Cool. Okay, so if you were having a masterclass, would you actually go into all of your DMs and like invite people personally? Is that considered spam?
No, and it works. I actually have one going on right now, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going in there and I'm personally inviting them, and I get 1 of 3 responses: no thank you, I can't wait, or no response.
Perfect. Love it. And do you deal with like a lot of feelings of rejection when you are putting those content out there? Because that's a lot of what people feel when they're posting video content. They're like, well, I'm scared people are going to reject me. I'm nervous what they're going to think about me. How do you get past that with like reaching out to people?
I think I've just worked on the muscles so long now at 2 years that I just don't care. And if they come back around and I will say the people on LinkedIn are nicer than some of their platforms.
Love that.
I still get a couple, not nice people coming at me. But at the end of the day, they're not my people. Like, I don't want your money anyways. And you're going to get an easy block and delete if you're going to act like that in my DMs.
Oh my God, I love that.
So it's just it's the same formula and the same attraction marketing as the other platforms. It just is. And a lot of times people honestly will, if I've got something free going on, I send them a message, they'll sign up, but they'll never respond to my message.
Funny.
And so I'll see them in the masterclass and I'll see them in my Excel spreadsheets, but then they never even were like, oh my gosh, I can't wait or anything. They just
They're
on
like,
the low.
I'm in. Amazing. Okay, so what about for paid offers? Would you do that with paid offers as well, or just free ones?
Just free ones.
Okay. That's a good insight. When it comes to closing clients, you have them come to you and then you would probably close them off of LinkedIn, yeah?
Yeah, in my email list.
Cool. Very
With
cool.
my email sequences. Or, I would send them a freebie 15 minutes and say, any hesitations, let's just schedule a call.
Cool.
Every single one I've closed like that because they're like, oh, well, basically, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm the same when you meet with me on video, and this is Zoom here, Riverside, than I am online. There's not 2 different versions of energetics or whatever of me. It's the same.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we vibe so much, because it's definitely the same over here. I am weird and goofy and silly online and in person. So, but it's impossible to like not be that way. Or like to not be myself. I love your sass. I love how direct and to the point, and you're like, no, I'm going to tell you the truth about all the things. And it's so good.
I am sassy and I am direct, like to the core as who I am. And
Yeah.
so I come across that way. And sometimes I do, when I started this journey, I held that part of me back because
Really?
it's the black or white with me. There's people either love me or they don't like me at all. There's no gray.
Ooh.
And so when I first started my journey, I let the gray exist, and I think it honestly probably even held me back a little bit than I should have let it. But since then, I don't really care. People can, whatever. You're not my people if you don't like
Love
me.
it. I love that. And I think that so many people can take a lot of wisdom from what you said about one, like you've exercised your muscles of messaging people and being okay with that rejection if it happens. And like exercising the muscle of practicing selling or practicing inviting people to your things and practicing connecting, like that is a big part of it. And it does make it feel a lot less scary. And God, I
It does. And
freaking love you.
there was actually Lori Harder did a reel today on Instagram about this exact same topic about why it is good to get rejected every single day. And it's because you start building that muscle and it doesn't feel as hard or scary anymore. And she said the person in the room who isn't afraid of getting rejected at all is the person who's unstoppable.
True. So true. There's a book. I want to say the author is Jia Jiang, but it's called Rejection Proof. And he like documents. Have you read it?
No, but I mean, to your listeners, I'm not fully rejection proof, but I'm probably 90% like I don't care if I'm going to get rejected because I'm just going to make pivots or adjust or you're not my person anyways.
Of course. Absolutely. I just love like that you have that bravery muscle on LinkedIn. Like, I feel like I have the bravery muscle when it comes to Instagram and YouTube because I have been doing it the same, like, a long time. But when I spoke on stage at that last event where you spoke on stage, afterward, I immediately had all these feelings of like, oh my God, I had so much imposter syndrome. I had to work through a lot of things. I was like, I thought I dealt with this. What's going on? So I don't think anyone is rejection proof fully, but this book, Rejection Proof, he literally goes and like, does wild things to experience rejection every day to build that muscle. It's wild. And it's funny, some of the things he does. But also, one of the really interesting points that I took from the book was that the wild things he was asking for, like he went and knocked on people's doors and asked if he could go play baseball in their backyard. Weird, funny things that have nothing to do with like him or his worth or whatever, but some people said yes. And so that's a really great takeaway. There's going to be a lot of people that maybe don't answer you, but will sign up for your thing. And then they're in your world and it's the best.
Ooh, I'm going to give a great example of this right now. So when I started my LinkedIn journey and my podcasting journey at the same time, I just went 0 to 100. I went straight for the LinkedIn influencers, the ones who had 5, 10, 15K followers. And I didn't let anything hold me back. And so I would go out there and I would say, would you like to be a guest on my show? 100% of everyone I asked at the time said yes.
Love.
And I never let how big they were or the, vanity metrics or whatever hold me back.
Love it.
I had some humility there too. I didn't go after the people who had like 50,000 or 100,000 because I was just a baby starting out then. But I would say 99% of my guests that I have had on my podcast have come from LinkedIn.
Cool. Oh my gosh, that's a really great idea. So like collaborations and podcast features and all of that can come from LinkedIn as well. I had one really specific question about like posting strategy. Do you ever post your freebies like in one of your daily posts, or is it all just thought leadership?
Before I started my marketing agency, I did. And I would do a 4-week lead up. Because at the time I was just coaching female entrepreneurs. Now I do have a done for you model where I do their LinkedIn for them. So when I was doing coaching, I would lead up to it for 4 weeks, talk about the freebies, drive the engagement that way.
Oh.
But I got more traffic and more leads and more emails by working the DMs than I did by posting out there to my audience.
Genius. I love it. I think that that's something that's really valuable across the board, like the most, especially in the age of AI right now. it can be so impersonal. People can pop in a ChatGPT and ask almost anything and it can spit out an answer. But when it comes to like people want to feel seen and heard, and like they actually have a connection with people in order to buy from them. So I think that the DM route is so smart. It's so smart.
Yeah, that's where the magic happens on LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh, so good. Okay, if people are nervous or feel overwhelmed, what would you tell them?
Don't.
Love it.
Honestly, that's easy for me to say because people look at me on LinkedIn now and they're like, oh, wow. And they want what I want, but they didn't see like the grind and like the crickets I got for a long, long time.
Okay.
And I'll say, just start working and honing in on your messaging and seeing what works. And then what starts working, just start doing more of that. And honestly, the worst thing is going to happen for you if someone's listening to this and like, I'm scared, LinkedIn's scary or whatever. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get ghosted.
Yeah. And they're just another person on the internet, if that's the case.
Yeah. And I mean, who cares? Like, then they're not your people.
Yeah. Love it. I love that. I feel like I had another question. What are you excited about in your life right now?
Well, we just moved, so I'm excited to be settled in the new house. I'm excited I have several clients I'm working with now with my agency that are doing really, really well, and they're doing well fast. And so I love hearing about their successes and what's working for them. And everyone has different goals, right? So whether it's not more clients or you want more visibility to whatever fill in the blank that you're doing, I can help you achieve that on LinkedIn. So I just love lifting my clients up and helping them out. And then if you're listening to this and have a podcast, I would say definitely use LinkedIn as a marketing tool for that, because your other podcast guests that you can do swaps with, or your podcast guest in general, can all be found on LinkedIn.
So good. Thank you so much for sharing so many amazing secrets with us. I want to just like have you on again and again. Expect so many comments from me on LinkedIn. And I can't wait for this episode to come out for our audience. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay. Hey friend, thanks so much for listening. I hope you loved this podcast as much as I loved recording it for you. It would mean the world to me if you would share this podcast with your friends or on your Instagram story, like, oh my gosh, I just listened to the Creative Minute podcast and it was so good. It means the world to me when you help get the word out there. And if you'd like to work together, head to shanayurko.com to see all the great ways that we could connect and work together. Don't forget to follow the podcast, thecreativeminute.podcast on Instagram. Get educational content from me at Shana Yurko, SHANAYURKO. Can't wait to connect with you, my friend. I will catch you in the next episode.